Is Dallas Cowboys head coach, a man who knows the franchise well, Marcus Spears, joining us now ahead of NFL Live, which is coming up top of the hour right here on ESPN. Spears, where have you and I been through this before?
We've been through it too many times, feels like, man. And too many times it's been unknowns right after it happens.
So what is your reaction to this latest move by Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy to part ways?
Yeah, not shocking. It was expected, obviously. And you see, we heard the murmur. Actually, we've heard about Mike McCarthy's job for the past 3 years. Even in seasons where he was winning 12 games, we were having a conversation about if he was the right guy. It comes to a point, and I say this all the time, and I feel like a broken record at this point, is, okay, cool, you want to move on from Mike McCarthy. What is going to be the organizational change? What is going to be a philosophical change that's going to put you in a different position when you hire this next head coach? Or will it be a lot of the same? And a lot of people get captivated with that when I'm talking about things like with the Cowboys, like Jerry talking to the media and being so prominent in the discussion that becomes about the Cowboys' actual football on the field. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. You're moving on to a new head coach. But is the culture and the situation going to change with the new head coach walking in? And I'm one to say, prove it to me, as opposed to getting super excited for whatever name they hire to think that something is going to be different in the building when the temperature and the tone has been set by the owner and is going to be set by the owner and continue to be unless he changes his tune and his tone and how he goes about things.
Yeah, but Marcus, you know what that means, right? That means firing the GM. You know who's not going to fire the GM? The owner, who is also the GM. That's where the Cowboys are stuck. You know that, and I know that. So the organizational change is always going to be the head coach revolving door. So having said that, there's going to be so many names thrown out there for the Dallas Cowboys. But what you know about the organization and what you know about this roster that's coming back, who do you believe would be the best fit to kind of take that organizational change, which we don't think is going to happen, aside and get this team to where it needs to be?
Well, man, this is why this is a great question, because we get to the football part of it, right? Philosophically, do you want an offensive mind? And when I think about things that have transpired in football, you have to wait now on Ben Johnson to try to have a interview with him because you waited so long and played the Mike McCarthy thing up until the end. Typical Cowboys. Aaron Glenn, I think, would be a really good fit in Dallas as a guy that can really take over a locker room as a former player and kind of disassociate that part of it with what goes on in the outside. Those are two names that I think about. Kellen Moore, I wouldn't be shocked if they revisit Kellen Moore now that he's had an opportunity to go other places, prove that he runs a high-level offense, and he does things. Obviously, Philly is in the playoffs trying to make a run to the Super Bowl right now. I'm super interested to see if Deion Sanders, primetime, is going to get some interest in this job as well. We know Jerry loves the flash. We know he loves to bring the attention, and no one would do that more than Prime. I wonder if Prime would leave Colorado and go take that on. And here's the caveat about Prime, Matt. As much as you and I have talked over the years about Jerry and him not relinquishing power or control, Prime may be one guy that can at least go up to the office and say, Jerry, let's try it my way, because of the respect that I think Jerry has for Deion Sanders. So it's going to be super interesting, but I think he should be a name. This job is obviously it's about X's and O's, Matt B, and we get so caught up in we want to pair the offensive coordinator with the quarterback, and we want a guy that's been in the league and super tenured. This is a people's job. This is a management of human beings. This is a management of making sure guys are ready to play and play for you and go out and execute. You do the delegating. You hire people that are super high level in those specific individual things that you want to get accomplished with this football team. That's why I think you need a leader of men, but I also think you need somebody with some cachet that can look Jerry in the eye and say, I'm going to do it this way, and if you fire me, I'm fine regardless.
Yeah, look, you changed my perspective on Prime in one sentence, because you are 100% right. It takes someone who could go into the office and say, Jerry, listen to me. There's a handful of those guys on the planet. Deion Sanders is one of them. We'll see what happens there. Cannot wait to watch you guys. Coming up, top of the hour, ESPN NFL Live from Monday Night Football, the playoff edition. Spears, let's do this again. This was fun. Talk to you soon. Our breaking news today on SportsCenter: Mike McCarthy will not return as the Cowboys head coach. Sources told our Adam Schefter today. McCarthy's contract with the Cowboys expired last Wednesday, but the team held that exclusive negotiating window until Tuesday at midnight. That matters nothing anymore because Mike McCarthy is out as Dallas Cowboys head coach after 5 seasons. A man who's covered the Cowboys for 20 years, our Todd Archer, joins us now. And Todd, let's start there. This has been a wild week or so for the Cowboys, and that's saying something for Jerry Jones, especially when it comes to hiring coaches. How did he reach this decision? How did we get to this?
Really, Matt, I think it's both sides reached this point where they just saw that they couldn't find a path moving forward. Adam Schefter has said that there were new negotiations on a new deal between the two sides. And that's interesting considering last week they spoke at least 3 times going through the 2024 season and then into potential changes on the staff if McCarthy would continue as a play caller, that whole thing. So it seemed if there wasn't a breakdown in communication then that they would be continuing to working towards a deal. But now here they are, what do we want to say, before midnight Tuesday when that exclusive negotiating period was to come due. The Cowboys walk away, Mike McCarthy walks away, and now we see if the Chicago Bears and New Orleans Saints get involved for McCarthy, and now we see Jerry Jones begin his 9th search for a head coach.
Yeah, so what next for the Cowboys? That 9th search is a big one, especially with the money they dumped into Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb is in the prime of his career. They need to improve defensively. They need a running back. There's a lot to happen for the Cowboys. So what next in short order for Jerry?
This is an interesting approach, Matt, because everything that Jerry has done since his time here, he's covered all of his bases. He's hired college coaches, Barry Switzer and Jimmy Johnson. He's hired Super Bowl winning coaches, Bill Parcells and Mike McCarthy. He's promoted from within with Jason Garrett and Dave Campo. He's hired an offensive coordinator in Chan Gailey. He's hired a defensive coordinator in Wade Phillips. And since 1995, none of it has worked. So now we'll see, does Jerry make a big swing? And whatever that big swing would be, does he go and make that gambling move, maybe with a first-time head coach? Seems a little tricky that he would do something like that at 82 years old. Does he look for an offensive guy to pair with Dak Prescott? Kellen Moore was his offensive coordinator and a teammate of his. They thrived together for years. Is that an option? Is Cliff Kingsbury, a guy who Jerry's publicly lauded, is that an option? There are a lot of different roads that the Cowboys are about to go on, Matt, and now it's just getting interesting. In 2020, when he hired Mike McCarthy as that coach, that came 10 days after the season ended. I don't know if we'll see a hiring that quick this time around.
Yeah, and those bullet points were fascinating because you're right. By naming all of those coaches, he was able to check one thing off the list in terms of experience or not experience. And here we are again, Jerry trying to find the coach that will get the Dallas Cowboys over the Super Bowl hump. Todd Archer will have it. Todd, thank you.